Hey everyone, Raider here. Hope you're all doing great and having a fantastic day. So we got an exciting video for you today. This is all about Bixby Routines. Now before we get started, I want to make one thing completely clear here, perfectly clear. Bixby Routines has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with the Bixby Voice Assistant. In my humble opinion, the Bixby Voice Assistant, meh at best. Seriously, it really is trash. However, Bixby Routines are awesome. And Bixby Routines are all about automating actions on your device based upon certain conditions. If my battery reaches a certain level, do this. If I leave my home, do that. If it's a certain time of day, do this. We also have the ability to create manual routines to where we can just push a toggle. So we're going to go over creating both types of routines, how to properly manage them, and by the end of this video, you should be comfortable with Bixby Routines. Great functionality. It's built right into your Samsung Galaxy phone or tablet. Nothing to download, no funny business, no ads. This is from Samsung. And if it sounds a little familiar to you, you're probably thinking of Tasker. Tasker is a very popular application on the Google Play Store. However, it's much more complex than this. The learning curve is much more steep. So let's focus on Bixby Routines in this video, and maybe later on we'll do a more advanced video on the Tasker application. All right, in order to get started with Bixby Routines, you want to go ahead and swipe down on your notification panel. You want to go into Settings. We're going to go down to Advanced Features, all right, here on the left. And as we scroll down on the right, you're going to see Bixby Routines. Now, by default, this is disabled. So you're going to want to go ahead and enable this. And then we go into Bixby Routines, and we have 3 different pages that load up: Discover, Add Routine, and My Routines, right? So for the remainder of this video, I want to give us some more room to work with. You see half of it's taken up by our menu system here. So let's go ahead and go back to Display. We're going to go back until we get to Screen Layout and Zoom, and I'm going to change it from Multi-View to Standard View. Okay, I'm going to go back out again, and now we're going to go back down to Advanced Features, and here's our Bixby Routines again. All right, so now we have a full page to work with. So first things first, here we have the Discover page, and right off the bat you can see that we have some pre-made routines that are already set up by Samsung for us. This covers different activities like your morning routines, your evening routine, adjusting your display and your audio for better hearing, routines for when you're leaving your home. We have routines for when you're arriving at work, and we also have workout routines. Instead of starting with one of the pre-canned routines already set up by Samsung, let's go ahead and start with making our own. I think it's going to make a lot more sense once we start creating some. We're going to start off slow and then go, go, go. So let's go to Add Routine. Okay, we're going to add an if condition. And the first routine we're going to create is a manually started routine. This is the easiest routine because there's nothing for your device to think about. There's no wake up times, specific times, anything like that. You're just going to start it manually. So the next thing we need to do is we need to pick what happens when we manually start this routine. So we're going to add a then condition here. So we're going to click then. I'm going to click on Functions right here. I'm going to go down. We have flashlight, turn on. I'm going to click Done. All right, we're going to hit Next. We're going to give it a name. It's already smart enough to pick up what you picked during your main then condition. So it's knowing you're wanting to turn on the flashlight. So it already named it flashlight. I like that. We'll stick with it. Go ahead and hit Done. Now here it's given us a little pop-up message that says, do you want to add this to your home screen? Because remember, we chose to create a manual routine. So that means we're going to toggle this on and off. So Samsung is asking you, hey, do you want to add a quick shortcut to your home screen? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Why not? Go ahead and hit Add. So now you see it took us over to the My Routines page, and it's showing us our first routine, which is for flashlight. You also see here that we have this little white indicator here in the top corner. Whenever you see this on one of your routines, that means that that routine is a manual start routine. You're going to have a toggle to turn that one on and off. Let's go ahead and try this routine out real quick. Let's go ahead and minimize this. Look here, we have this new flashlight toggle here on our screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn the screen to the side. Here, I'll go ahead and click it real quick. You see the flashlight is on. And I'll toggle it again, and our flashlight is off. All right, so we just created our first little routine. Let's go back into Bixby Routines, and let's add another routine. This one, let's make it do something a little bit more. Let's take this up a notch. So I want to create a routine that disables my Wi-Fi when I leave my home because I don't need it to constantly search for open Wi-Fi networks. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So this time we're not going to manually start the routine. We're going to tell the device what condition we want to happen in order for that routine to start. So we're going to go down here to Wi-Fi network, And now we're going to pick disconnected, because what we care about is when I leave home and my network gets disconnected, I want this routine to kick in. But we need to tell it which wireless network are you getting disconnected from. So we have to add the network. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so there's my home network. It's connected to it right now. So we're going to go ahead and pick it. All right, and we're going to click done. So we're basically saying if I become disconnected from my home network, then what I want to do is we're going to go to connections. All right, we're going to go to Wi-Fi and we're going to turn it off. And we're going to click done. All right, so we've got it all set. So let's go over this routine real quick. So when I leave my home and I get disconnected from my network, I want you to go ahead and turn the Wi-Fi off. And when I'm back home, you're going to go ahead and turn Wi-Fi back on. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. We'll call this Wi-Fi off. All right, so now we have this one already set up. Now this routine is going to happen on its own when I leave my home. So let's go ahead and try this out real quick. Let's go ahead and head out for a walk. All right, testing out the Bixby routine. I'm recording this with the Z Flip 4. We are walking further and further away from my house, and we are waiting to get out of my Wi-Fi area to see if the Wi-Fi turns itself off. Keep going. I've probably got a lot of minutes. I'm going to walk by ways. There it goes. Wi-Fi has been disabled by the Bixby routine. Awesome. All right, so that routine worked pretty good, right? It disabled our Wi-Fi. However, you'll notice a flaw in this routine, and that is when you get back home, it's not smart enough to really know to turn the Wi-Fi back on. So let's go ahead and create an even more advanced routine. So this time we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to say if, place, my current location, right? And it's giving you some information on how to interact with the map that it's about to show. All right, so you basically push and hold on the area that you want to finish with. You can go ahead and click OK. So I'm going to have most of this blurred out because I don't want to show my personal information, but it basically shows you a Google map of your location. But the part I do want you to pay attention to is we have these two options, when I leave and when I arrive. So what I want to happen is when I arrive at my home, right, done, then connections, Wi-Fi, on. All right, so now let's go over this routine real quick. So if I arrive at my place, I want to turn the Wi-Fi on. When the routine ends, I want to reverse the action, which means it's going to turn the Wi-Fi off. It has a reverse effect. So now our Wi-Fi is based upon our location. So this is an awesome way for you to leave your home, the Wi-Fi will turn off, and then when you get back home, your Wi-Fi is going to turn back on. Pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and hit next here. All right. Arriving at a location, we'll just call this home Wi-Fi. Okay. And we can also change the color and the icons if you want to. Let's go ahead and pick green. All right, cool. Home Wi-Fi, we'll go ahead and hit done. All right, so we have two routines now that kind of contradict themselves, right? So we have one that'll turn the Wi-Fi off when we leave the location and it no longer is able to connect to my home network. And we have a more robust routine that's going to keep the Wi-Fi on while I'm at home, and it's going to disable it. It's going to turn it off when I leave my location. And then when I come back home, it's going to detect that by location and turn my Wi-Fi back on and automatically connect to my preferred network, which happens to be my home Wi-Fi. So basically, we don't need this routine anymore. So we have a few things that we can do here. The first thing that we can do is we can disable this routine. So we can do that by clicking on it. And then we have our three dots right here that says more. And we can go ahead and disable this routine. Let's see what that looks like. Disable. We'll go back to our routines. You'll now see that it's grayed out, right? So we have one more option that we can do with it as well. We can go ahead and hold on to it, and now you have this delete option. So let's go ahead and delete it, because we don't need that routine. It kind of contradicts the other one. So one of the things I like to do, when I pull out my Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, I pretty much always turn on Spotify and I load up my favorite playlist, which happens to be my like songs. So let's automate that real quick. We'll go ahead and add a new routine. All right, we're going to pick if, and we're going to go down here to Bluetooth device. All right, and we are going to pick connected. We're going to pick a device. We're going to pick the Buds 2 Pro. and we're going to hit done. So what we're saying here is if I connect to my Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, then I want to go down here. We're going to pick on music. I'm going to load up a Spotify playlist. Okay, Spotify recommended. And here's a list of my playlists. I'm going to go ahead and pick like songs. That's my favorite one. We're done. So we loaded up a playlist. Now we actually need to start playing the music. Let's go ahead and add another then condition. Plus sign, down to music, play music. And then it gives us our choice of music services to start playing. We're going to pick Spotify. All right, we're going to click next. And let's go ahead and rename this Buds 2 Pro, right? And I like that blue color, and it already has a Bluetooth icon. Let's stick with that. Cool, we're gonna hit done. All right, we have one more routine here for the Buds 2 Pro. Let's go ahead and try it out real quick, right? It's already set up. So let's go ahead and take out the Buds 2 Pro. I will put them in my ears real quick. And as I'm doing that, I already hear music. And if I swipe down here, boom, look at that. My favorite songs are playing. That's my like songs. So it kicked that on automatically for me from that Bixby routine. All right, so let's go ahead and create some more useful routines that I think a lot of you will get a lot of use out of. Let's go ahead and do an add routine. All right, if we're gonna go down here and I'm gonna put a time period in here, okay? If the time period is between 10 p.m., because that's about when I go to sleep, and the end time is going to be 5:30. Well, it looks really weird with this big text. That's okay, I'll fight through it here. And we'll pick AM. We go back here and make sure we have PM to AM. So what's gonna happen here, if the time is between 10 p.m. and 5:30 a.m., done, I want to turn on, there's battery, protect battery. And we're gonna turn that on. All right, hit done. All right, so what's gonna happen now is when I put my device on the charger, it's going to charge the device up to 85% between 10 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. And once 5:30 a.m. hits, it's going to finish topping off the device. Because remember, the default is to reverse the action, right? If we go in here to overnight charge, we go here. So when the routine ends, it's going to turn off battery protection. All right? So that means at 5:30 a.m., it's going to start finishing the charge on my phone. So instead of it being at 100% all night, it's now going to finish charging at 5:30. I wake up at about 5:45, 5:50, so my phone is just about at 100% right when I wake up. Now I know what you're thinking. All right, well that sounds good and dandy if you do that 7 days a week, but what about the weekends? And what about if you're running late to work, or if you decide to take a day off, you're not feeling good? Now your phone's gonna be sitting there at 100%, and that's not good for your battery to keep it plugged in at 100%. No problem, we'll go ahead and create another routine. Let's go ahead and do that. Add routine, if battery level, all right, equal or above, and I'm going to put in a value here, 97%, done. So what we're saying here is that if while we're charging or at any time the battery level reaches 97% or above, we are going to go ahead and go here, go to battery, and we're going to turn battery protection on. Okay, and we're going to click next, and we are going to call this protect battery. All right, done. So let's talk about that routine real quick. So we have this new routine that says if you have your device on the charger at any time and it goes up to 97%, at that point, it's going to stop charging and it's going to turn on the battery protect feature. So this is awesome. This is actually probably my favorite routine out of all of them that we talked about so far, because now you can plug your device in at any time and it will no longer max out at 100%, which is never really a good idea, at least not for a long period of time. So now you can leave your device on your charger all weekend long, and once it hits 97%, it's going to turn on that battery protect mode. It will not charge past that amount. And then once it goes below 97%, once you start using your phone, battery protection will go back off. And let's say you put your phone on the charger at 91%. Well, it will charge. Battery protection will not be on. It's going to charge up your device, and it's going to fill it up to 97%, and then battery protection is going to go on. Awesome, right? Pretty cool routine. All right, so now that we have an idea of how to set up some basic routines here, let's go into properly managing them. So we already talked about a couple of the menu options, but let me show you a few more. So for any one of these, if we click on a routine and we have the ability to edit, right? We can go ahead and edit our routine and add more than conditions if you'd like. We also have the more option here, which allows you to delete, block running notification, and disable this routine like we already talked about. So what does this block running notification means? Well, let me show you. If we scroll down here, you can see here that home Wi-Fi running. This is basically saying that this particular routine is running right now. And if we go back to our routines, you'll see here, this is our home Wi-Fi routine. Remember, we have this routine set to where I'm at home, it turns on and connects to my device. Well, the thing is this is always going to be on, right? It might drive you nuts, especially if you start setting up 2 or 3 or 4 routines that are running at night. You're going to start seeing your notification panel start to fill up with these. At first, it's kind of nice to check on your routines, but after a while, that can get a little bit old. So what we can do is go ahead and click on that routine that it shows running. We'll click more, block running notifications, right? Now check it out. We'll go down here. Our routine is no longer listed. So if you get tired of seeing your routines in the notification panel, you can go ahead and disable it that way. So another thing I want to show you is we have a couple widgets to work with. So we'll go to an empty screen here and pinch in. We'll go to widgets, and we have 2 Bixby routine widgets. One is for a single button one, and the other widget option that we have is a 4x1 widget that'll show us all of our manual setup routines, right? So let's go ahead and pick this, add, and it's going to show us a list of all the manual routines we have, the ones that we can toggle. We only have one right now, but you can go ahead and create as many as you like. Let's say you want to create a routine that turns all your sounds off and puts you in do not disturb mode. You just push the button, it'll do that, like when you're going to the movies. And when you're done, you can click that routine again. That would show up in your list here. Let's go ahead and pick flashlight. All right, done. All right, so now we have this 4x1 widget that you can make even larger if you want, and it will have all of your routines in here that you have. And as you can see, it does work. We'll turn the flashlight on. All right, cool. Turn it back off, make sure it's off. And also when you have one of these routines on, you'll see that it has this little tiny blue indicator as well. That'll give you an idea that you have a routine running. All right, one more thing, guys, that I want to show you before we wrap this up is if you feel like you're doing everything you can in Bixby Routines and you just wish there was that one more feature, or you kind of wish it would do other things, like maybe read text out loud when your battery gets low, you can go ahead and use Routines Plus, which is part of the Samsung Good Lock application. So in order to get Good Lock, you're going to go to the Samsung Galaxy store. All right, I'll go ahead and type Galaxy. All right, and you're going to search for Good Lock. It's going to look like that right there. Go ahead and install it, and after you install it, you're going to go ahead and open it up. And then on the second panel here, our first option is going to be Routines Plus, which I already have installed, but if you don't, you're just going to click on it. It'll have you install it. And then once you do that, go ahead and open that up, and you'll have even more options. Location-based quick access, run a touch macro, control arrow keys with your S Pen, fingerprint to website. This one's cool here, low battery announcements. So let's say you get down to 15%, you can say battery level, 15%, whatever announcement you want. So you have some additional functionality right here with Routines Plus. And one more thing before we wrap up this video, and I did mean to mention this before we even got into this, a very useful routine, and I think another one that should be default for everyone, is this. Add routine, if, okay, battery level, below, let's say 30%. All right, we're going to go ahead and click done. Then battery, power saving, on. All right, so what's going to happen then is, we'll go ahead and hit done here. What's going to happen is once your device gets down to 30%, power saving mode will automatically kick on. And once you get back up above 30%, power saving will turn off without you having to do anything. All right, so just a quick introduction to Bixby Routines. Very powerful if-then logic that's built in to your Samsung Galaxy device. You also have the ability to extend it a little further with Routines Plus. And then our next step, guys, is to step into Tasker, which that's a whole different animal, another video, much more complex than this. But I think Bixby Routines will handle 99% of everything you need. Hey, if you have any cool routines that you use, I'd love to see them down in the comments section. Please share them with everyone. You know, it's all about sharing and us learning together. And this is a real complex thing. I know a lot of you have some very intense routines set up. So it'd be really cool to see what you're doing. These are real simple ones just for examples in a video, but you can get really complex with these, with multiple then statements doing all kinds of things, and you can revert back certain ones when you reverse a routine. You pick whatever you want. It's really as powerful stuff. But if you want to share some of your routines, I'd really appreciate it down in the comments section. And any ideas and suggestions for future videos, always appreciate it. As always, thanks for watching.